Welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Platform, where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals, whatever they may be. I'm joined as always by our other host, Mr. Corey Seekin.
We blessed. I just so happen to work hard.
Right now. If there's something in your life that you want to change, commit today and stop wasting
Get 1%
time.
better every single day and do something positive.
We want you to go out and get it. If you don't live by nothing else, live by 2 R's. You either got reasons or you got results. Choose which one you have in your life today. Welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Platform, where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals, whatever they may be. I'm super excited for tonight because the gentleman we have on as a guest has really spoke some things into my life, brought about some changes in ways that I never even thought about, never considered. So Tirrell is going to take you guys through a lot of deep information. And it's simple, but it's deep. And once you begin to make that change, your life will go to the next level. Corey, how's it going today?
Oh man, we all good on this side. Always blessed. It's a good time, and I think that this topic is really good for people, because I just had a conversation with a few people about this, and it's like, man, you want to get somewhere, but you don't know what you want, like, right? And so that kind of goes into today's topic of the mantra, right? Like, what do you live by? So.
Absolutely. And I'm going to read just a snippet of his bio, because if I read everything, I'd be here for 2 days. The man has done so much over these
The legend.
His life, like a living legend. He doing the thing. So Tirrell Muhammad was born and raised in San Francisco, California, AKA raised by the city by the bay. He is married for over 18 plus years, living in Walnut Creek, California. His education includes San Jose State University, San Francisco State University, and the University of Paris. So you talk about somebody that's getting around too. He international with it. While learning and speaking 2 languages, he decided to go into real estate. Today, he has 25 plus years of real estate and consulting experience. His clients today include NFL, NBA, mayors, city council members, city managers, and attorneys from all over the world. Tirrell, how's it going, big brother?
Oh man, shoot! I feel like the little brother here on cash. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to hang out with my big brothers, man. I'm doing fantastic, Big T. Thank you very much for having me and just allowing me to be on you guys' big platform. See,
absolutely. So Tirrell, take us back to, give us some of your history, your background, and what led up to, because tonight we're talking about those mantras, mission statements, the declarations, those things by which we live our daily life and we should do, and we should revert back to. And we're going to get into that. But tell the people about where you started, because I know we all have a past. We got a closet. Within that closet is different things, but we all have a past. And just take us back to yours.
So let's go. Let's go back to the childhood, right? So I am a only child that was born and raised in San Francisco by a single mom. And we literally was raised in one of the few public housing projects in San Francisco. Okay. And as a result of just living in that environment, you kind of learn how to adapt to the environment in some form or fashion, whether the principles or values are right or wrong. So by 7th, 8th grade, I'm smoking weed. I got the weed dealer next door to me. We had guns. It was just the ever evolving process at such a young teenage years. It was just mind blowing. By the time I got to middle school and high school, my mom finally put me in organized sports. And I think that is where the shift started to begin, right? You start getting around people that have a similar mission, a similar goal. And I excelled at that in a lot of ways. in a lot of ways, because I think that was the pivot point for me, because by the time I got to high school, I was ready. I was ready to let out a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and the environment was still toxic because uh, we were winning games. We won the city championship back to back, but we were still stealing cars, right? So the principal values was not aligning with itself. So by the time I got to San Jose State, I didn't really have values. I didn't really know what values were, or principles and what that was. I just knew I wanted to be like some of the men that were around me. And so I looked up to a lot of guys who were in fraternities, but that was not the road that I wanted to take. I didn't really want to join a fraternity, but we just ended up um, creating one at San Jose State. It was called SBBS. And we started an organization. And by starting that organization my freshman year, we dominated the organization by bringing in about 50 to 75 people into that organization to help minorities get through college. And then by that time, partying was still going on. So I had to start making some changes, because I start evaluating and kind of assessing and seeing what was going on. And I saw some people that were doing very, very well, and some people who was just lacking and on a high level. So a friend of mine said, "Man, let's go out to Paris." I'm like, "I'm not going to no Paris. There's nothing out there, right? Except Eiffel Towers." But I got convinced to leave the Bay Area, go out of the country, and it was probably the best move that I had ever made at that age. Because what it taught me was the different cultures and assimilations of environments. People do live differently in some form of fashion, and you have to recognize, and we have to recognize what that is, so that we can start pulling on what we are looking to be as well as become. So by the time I went to Paris and came back, I was ready to hit the ground running. I think I was about 22, 23. I had lived out there for about a year, and I was just ready to, get into this world as a different person. And even though I was still drinking and all the other stuff, my focus started to recalibrate towards something. I didn't know what that was. It was just towards something. And that's how I ended up getting into real estate, too.
Wow. I thought I saw you on New Jersey Drive. Wow. Definitely a powerful story. Now, for you, T, was there a moment, and I know when you went to Paris, it kind of shifted. Was there a shock? Because a lot of times people don't change their situations until they have that shock moment,
Oh,
whether
yeah.
it's death or whether it's I hit rock bottom. Did you have a shock moment that kind of made you say, you know what, this isn't the way I want to keep going. I have to make a change.
So when I was in Paris, the a moment, one of many, a moment happened where we moved into some apartments over there, and being American and everything else, I thought I was the bomb. And some of the locals had to show me that I wasn't. They were throwing snowballs at us and everything else on our first day or two, and I was like, "Hold on, what's happening here? These dudes is tripping." I realized that our ego was so over the top that we kind of really didn't care about the locals. So we recalibrated the next few days to get to know the locals. So I intentionally went out there like on a Saturday morning to talk and play basketball with them. Most of them didn't speak English, but they know English. And so it was the ability to assimilate in some form of fashion, right? And by the time that we started doing that, they appreciated our humbleness, and we humbled ourselves as Americans to be like, you know what? These locals are pretty similar to us. And I started making friends with children of diplomats. I didn't know what a diplomat was. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like they were educating me on global relationships. I was like, oh man, this is a whole nother world. I try to call some of my family friends out here, and I was like, man, y'all gotta come out here. They was like, T, you in Paris, Doc. You gotta handle anything and everything on your own. So you kind of get used to being on an island by yourself, and fi- figure out the direction that you and I need to go. So again, once I got back to the States, man, I jumped into to real estate really heavy, and within 3 years, I was like the president of the local trade association in San Francisco, which is still considered one of the most powerful real estate trade organizations in the US, right? And here I'm 24, 25, and I got rank, I got a little money, you know what I'm saying? So the power and ego is starting to come back, and it was just like I still didn't have principles and values. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? And so as I'm making all this money, the rock bottom didn't come until like 5 or 6 years later, because now I got cats all around me. We're making money. I'm putting people on the team, paying them 5 racks a month to do. I have no idea what, you know what I'm saying? There was no outlines of roles and responsibilities. It was just like show up and we rolling out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not, that wasn't a effective way to run a business. So eventually within a few years, bro, I just hit rock bottom because nothing was going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I was making money, but no principles, no values, no nothing. And then eventually, I just ended up hitting rock bottom, man, and lost over $4.2 million.
Woo-hoo.
Oh Lord.
You went from the Einstein moment where you got some information and it stretched your head and you knew that, hey, I can't ever go back to here. I got to jump out there, to the MC Hammer moment where you lost it all.
Oh man,
Man.
over a 2 year period, it was just like it just swelled and started going and going and then but by the time I looked up, I wasn't into managing, P&Ls and looking at where the revenues and the expenses was going. I had no concept of managing that on a high level. It was just, yeah, it was just terrible. So I started drinking again. You know what I'm saying? And the drinking was a good numbing process. That was a great system for me. You know what I'm saying? It was a great system. I would find myself in a car, just pass the hell out, because it took away the time, the pressure, the stress of those moments. And so, for a few years, man, there was that time of attempting to recalibrate. And I have to be frank, I don't know what exactly changed or shifted, but eventually the next several years was like, you know what, I need to do something different. I still had a few homies that really was just like, hey man, I I don't know what's going on, but you need to snap back.
Yeah.
uh, and when I had a few talks and they just kind of helped out, it was just like, okay, got it. Let me just start on that road on figuring out where my purpose is. And I just took it. I went into a cave. I just went into um, a room because by that time I was living out of a room. I was sleeping in my car from time because it was just bad, and the the recalibration just allowed me to start making one step one day at a time to start to figure it out. And then when I started to have those wins, those little small wins, I s- I started to realize, oh, we can start doing this again. And let me back up because before that fall, we had launched a startup airlines. So we were going to start an airlines in the San Francisco Bay Area out of Concord, California, called People Airways out of Buchanan Airfield. And we raised over $51 million for the airlines. We worked 7 years on getting. So we was gonna be a beast.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you, you know what I'm saying? Again, we had no principles. We had no destination of what the realness was going to come out. And so again, now you see where all the drinking and everything else is coming from because now I'm seeing all the wealth and all of this so-called value that we're supposed to have in life, but I'm so empty inside, and that was a extreme pressure and loss that really came through. So again, when we're talking about having a mission or a mantra, let's back up a little bit because that's where I think where the shift started to lie is because I realized that we all have our own life operating principles. And it could be systems by which we operate just from a unorganized level, or it can be very systematic in some form of fashion. Corey, you came off mute. Did you have to say something?
No, I'm good. Keep going.
Oh, okay, good. So the systems that I realized that I had just wasn't working. They weren't all bad, but a lot of them were. So I have to figure out what the end result that I wanted. And then I started to reverse engineer and make a few changes to those systems by which I wanted to achieve and now become. So I literally started off with just a declaration, and I forget what it was because when you set a declaration, declarations constantly evolve itself. It kind of never goes away. But when you have a mission is like a project. It's like it has a start and an end. So I still have missions and projects that is constantly being worked on, but my declaration is constantly ever evolving. So now I have to have systems and routines to support my declaration. And I literally just started off with having morning routines. That's it. I didn't even have an evening routine. I didn't know what that was. But I realized some of these other successful dudes, they also had evening routines. So I would try and reverse engineer what they were doing and take one thing that they would do and see if it would work for me. And I would adjust it. So now I have morning and evening routines that support the declaration, aka the mantra, because it's a constant reminder to our subconscious mind that who and what we are, but what we are also attempting to be and become.
That's good. Before you go deeper, because we're gonna break that whole thing down for
Yeah,
everybody.
I got some things to
So,
to
Corey,
touch in
you
that.
go ahead and get your things out of there. I'll jump in back.
Yeah, so there's a few things that I heard that you said in there, right? And there's kind of some stuff that we talk about all the time. So number one, right, I want people to understand. So he talked about, so he grew up in the projects in San Francisco, right? I thoroughly believe that when you really achieve greatness is when you have basically the grind and the grit, and then you expose yourself to some stuff. And so what I heard there is, you know, you had the grind and grit because, and he might not have specifically said, man, I had this grind in me, blah, blah, blah. When you live in environments like that, you live in survival.
Yeah.
And so you have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta get it to survive, right?
Yeah.
And then once you go ahead.
Hey, Corey, we were selling, I was selling lemonade out of little white cups, you know, for like 10 cents or 25 cents back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right. The grind was there, but there was no structure, system, routine around to evolve that into something that can manifest itself.
Right. And that's the key, because, and that was, I'm glad you said that, because that's going to segue. So you got the grind, you got the exposure, but then when you mesh it together, you see success. And then what you started talking about there is like there's too many people. And this is part of that conversation I had earlier. There's too many people. You got a dream, you got a goal, you're going after it, whatever it may be, but you don't know what you want. Like, you don't know what you want from yourself. You don't know what you want from other people. You don't know what you want out of that relationship that you're trying to get. And so it's like, you just keep saying, well, I'm successful because I've become this person. But then you can find yourself going down these different paths. You talked about sleeping in the car, right? You talked about the alcoholism, right? And it's like people will find themselves in situations like that because you don't know what you want. And so you just continue to do, and you never step back. And both of y'all, it sounds like y'all are the systems people. Like, because I know Tyrus is all about making the system sexy behind the scenes.
Yeah, he is.
But the thing is a lot of people, you don't know, like, and you talked about reverse engineering too. You don't know what you want, right? Like, ultimately what you want. And I believe that everything in life conceptually can kind of be approached the same way, right? Like, if I have a business, I say, this is my mission and vision. This is what I want to do. These are the steps that I'm going to take in my business. If I'm trying to find a girlfriend, this is my mission and vision for my relationship. These are the steps that I need to take every single day to try to grow that relationship, right? And so a lot of people, they think that, oh man, because it's not business, I'm over here trying to create relationships, or I'm trying to build something in my life or better myself or something. And they don't have anything in place. They're just like, I'm just waking up, flying by the seat of my pants. So I didn't want to skip over that and make sure that people like truly understood like kind of what you were saying. But yeah, I'm gonna kick it to you, Tyrus. What you got?
And that's perfect, because you just went back to where I wanted to go exactly. And this is my personal experience, and this is how this is going to bring Tirrell into this picture to help us break down the mantra. First thing, if you don't have a system by which you operating in somebody else's system for you. So you operating by a system.
Pause there. Yeah, that's exactly right. People don't realize that whether it is blatantly conveyed like how Tyrus does it in systems, but Corey, you have a system too. We all have a system, whether or not we actually identify it or not. We all have things that we do on a consistent basis 2, 3, 4, 5 times that makes us feel good. That is a system to help you feel like you're getting something done in some form or fashion. It is the emotional barometer by which we live. And we have to figure out whether or not our emotion is supporting that system so that we can make sure that we are executing on the lines of our declaration, our mantra, and the mission.
And so to come back to that, this is what Tirrell helped me identify, was that I didn't have a system for life. I had a beautiful system for business. I could lay it out, unemotional. It's just the framework. And so if you're operating inside of that, you're doing the day in, day out to grow business. And I heard somebody recently say, I can't even say who it was, but they said we need to get away from building businesses and start building a life first.
Mm-hmm.
Once you build your life, then business is a byproduct and will follow. And so Tirrell helped me begin to build what he calls the life operating plan.
Mm-hmm.
We love business plans, but we don't have life operating plans. That means I didn't have a true morning routine, no evening routine, no system by which, how am I going to do self-care? Tirrell asked me those hard questions like, are you having fun? Those are things that I didn't even consider because I operated in a system that only looked at business goals, objectives, and results. So I was living a business life and achieving, because people gonna say, I'm killing the game,
Mm-hmm.
but then you losing in other areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the areas that will take you further longer than business, because business comes and goes. Tirrell talked about losing money in business. I know I lost some money in business. And if you look at all of our successful business people, they have went rock bottom. Those who survive most of the time have something else to live for, or they have a strong support system, which they fall back on. And so if you don't have a strong support system and you kill it because you're focused on business only, you're doing yourself a disservice. I don't want to be around a person that all they know is business, but then you ask, well, how's your wife and how are your kids? And they can't answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Or what they're doing, to Corey's point, on a daily basis to build that relationship. And it may sound funny to you that's listening. You may say, well, why do I have to schedule time with my family? Why do I have to do X, Y, and Z for my family? Why can't we just free flow? Because when you don't have a plan, you're just operating in the wind. And if
yeah, and by the way, you don't have to plan time with your family. If your goal is not to build your family, then cool. do you? The problem, going back to what Corey was saying, is that we don't know exactly what we really want out of life. And we have to sometimes go into that cave and figure it out. People look at the morning routines and evening routines and they're like, I don't want to be structured like that. Okay, yeah. Cool. You ain't got to be structured like that. Do you? Figure out what your modus of operandi needs to be to help you have that thematic life that you desire, whatever that is, right? People get up early, people get up late. It doesn't matter what time you get up, but when you get up, you're getting up into and architecting the life that you want to live by design, whatever that is. If you like reading books and you like watching movies on Tuesday and Thursday, do you? But make sure that the activities that you are doing are in line with your declaration, your mantra in life. If you don't figure out what that is, the disc profile that we master is irrelevant because you don't know where you're going.
You just keep showing up. That's all you keep doing. Just keep showing up.
Yeah, you keep showing up and you're not adding value to your purpose in life. And so we all need to constantly have a goal. I'm in San Francisco. If I'm going to New York, well, that's my destination. How I get there kind of doesn't matter right now. But I have a destination. So tell you what, I'm just going to get on Highway 5, which is out this way, and I'm just going to start following the signs.
Good.
Huh?
No, keep going with it.
Come. We start following these signs that is going to help us get closer to our destination. And so, as we are in this travel mode, we got to have fun. You got to enjoy the process by which you are ever becoming who you are. And so, family is important to me. So, my structure, I've been married 18 years with my wife. And so, our structure is, and I've had to learn that when I spend time with my wife, I have to cut it off and spend time with her, not just be in a room with her. Right. So we have to figure out systems that is going to yield the highest return on time.
Beautiful.
Oh, and watch this though, Tyrus. So, and he's talking about, okay, I know if I'm trying to get from California to get to New York, I know that's my destination, right? But some of y'all, and y'all listening to this right now, but how you gonna get there, right? Are you gonna take the car? Or are you gonna take the plane? A lot of people will be like, man, Tirrell, why you gonna drive to New York, right? Well, why you gonna miss all the scenery? Why you
Yeah.
gonna miss? You gonna miss the trees, you're gonna miss the states, you're gonna miss the restaurants that you can go through, you're gonna miss the people that you're gonna meet along the way. And so even further than that, so then when you pick your method of how you're trying to get there, make sure that it's the method that's going to grow you the best, because we want that entire sort of talking about this microwave society. You want the, man, I'm gonna just hop on a jet and I'm gonna go to New York,
Yeah.
but you just missed everything in between.
Yeah.
So make sure that even though you're setting up what, man, this is my destination. And something you asked me right before we hopped on this, you said, you know, what made you get into coaching? Like, it's the same thing that we're talking about right now. Most people don't have direction, and you're gonna make the money. We're not tripping on the money. You talked about 51 million bill. You talked about, man, I lost 4.2 million. Yeah, it might have hurt. I'm sure that stung. I've never lost $4 million. I'm sure that stung. But at the end of the day, it's like, as a person, you can make the money as long as you work smart. Now, listen to me. I didn't say work hard, because there's a difference between working smart and working. We know that you got to give the effort. We know that you got to give full force toward whatever you're doing. But there's people, and I'm gonna just be honest with both of y'all. I don't believe that we work harder than the cats digging ditches or driving poles in the ground to build a building or laying concrete every day. Man, that's working hard.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, in that job, well, how much are those people making?
Yeah.
They not valuing $51 million. They're not, and nothing against anybody that works a job like that. But it's like, when your goal is money and your goal is like the success, the financial success and whatnot, understand that you got to work hard. Now that working smart. Now that you're working smart, what's the avenue that you go, right? But like you said, most people do not know where they're trying to go. So they don't even know how to map, like, what's that end destination?
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm gonna get off my high horse, because I'm in the convo right now, man.
Well, let me just add to that, because as we are setting up our declaration, whatever that may be, it only needs to resonate with you. For too many years, I cared so much about other people and how they viewed me. I cared so much about how I was viewed. I cared so much about how how I was supporting people or not supporting people, or giving them opportunities or not giving them opportunities. I could get into somebody's head and hear them thinking. I had to realize that I had to be me, whatever that is and who that was going to be, and be the best version of me. That's it. And my declaration, my mantra, was going to reflect who I am. So I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, disciplined, and enthusiastic. Those are pillars by which drive almost everything that I do. And if it doesn't resonate with my mantra, my declaration, who I am and who I am looking to be and become, then I have created a system to assess any new project. So I don't make a decision unless it's 72 hours or I've talked to my wife. Why? Because the return on time, I may miscalculate what that is. So to drive my routines every single day is around the missions, projects to what's going on, but they are all founded on that declaration.
Love it. And we about to break that declaration down. But I want to just highlight what Corey said. And it's funny. It's almost like we scripted this conversation.
Right.
Pulling stuff up and I see stuff that's supporting. A friend of mine had made a Facebook post. He said, let everything happen to you. Have you come here to avoid life or experience it? And
Mhm.
so many people want to get on that plane so they can avoid everything that's in the path on the way to the destination instead of experiencing everything and learning from it.
Mhm.
We're afraid to learn.
Yeah.
We don't want to go through the pain or the process. We want to get to the final destination.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Can we go a little deeper?
go deep.
Is that we're just not afraid. We just don't have a system by which we assess what the unknown territory is. And so, because when new things come up, our emotional barometer goes out of whack, then our system says we either fight or flight. And so we have to create a better system to address the things that we are going after and or what we call stress tests. We stress test everything that we do because we want to maximize everything that we are doing to make sure that it is aligning with our declaration. Everything, every day that we wake up, we are in problem solving mode. Get used to it. That is life. And as we create systems to be able to deal with that, then we should be able to solve things faster along the way and or create a body of people that you can address as your advisory board.
Ooh, T, you giving them too much. You give them too
Yeah,
much.
we're gonna have to charge for this one.
Too
Get a
much.
charge for this one.
Love it. T, let's start to actually break down the mantra. And let's use yours. The words, if you'll repeat it again, the wording, why those specific words, and how they guide your day in and day out. And I want you to take this audience as you're listening. Remember this. What T is about to break down right now is the difference between our multimillionaire and billionaires and everybody else in the world. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. They don't have anything more special than what we have. They're not born with a something that says this is going to make this person a specific billionaire. What they have are talents and non-talents, and we all have the same thing. But what T is about to break down to you now is why they know how to focus on their talents and what makes them super successful while the rest of the world still lives and try to figure it out, even if they at that level. Most people just living and they're existing. They're not even living. They just day in and day out. So
But Tyrus, wait, they can't just be blessed.
Well,
They can't,
some
they,
people just
they
blessed.
can't just be blessed. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to work for it.
Go ahead, T. Take it over.
So when we decide that we want to get to a destination, then we need to start mapping out the AKA declaration or mantra. The declaration and mantra needs to be coupled with your values, whatever that those values are. So my values is trust, honesty, integrity, um, um, being able to move quickly, having character, making my word bond. These are a list of values that are important to me, and I had to realize that they're more important than a lifestyle that is short lived. And so the basis of our declaration should be around or modeled around who we are and who we want to be. So my declarations used to be, Tyrus, I'm gonna make $5 million and I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and I'm gonna have this. That that used to be my declaration.
I'm with you.
Right. And then I realized that once that was achieved, the emptiness still lived. So for me, the I am, which is also in the Bible over 300 times, is a model that is already in place for us to follow. And so as we use it, I am Alpha and I am Omega, I am the start and the end, then we have the ability to be who we want to be and become. The problem is our subconscious mind is not allowing us to do that based on our experience. So the method and the system that I use to rinse and repeat, because the declaration may change next year. But for me, for the last several years, I am happy. That's what I want to be, regardless of the financial scale that I'm on. I want to be happy. I am happy, healthy, wealthy. Health is a big deal for us who are getting up in age. Wealthy. Wealth is an abundance of the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Right. So I craft my declaration to be around the things that I am and the things that I want to be. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused. I know that being focused is a big part of being successful. So, because I can sometimes not be focused, I need to remind my subconscious mind that I am focused. I can be focused, right? I mean, when I was growing up in elementary, they called me slow, yet I was skipped a grade. I stuttered so bad that I could hardly talk. So people used to make uh, total fun of me in school. Today, you can hardly tell that I stutter, but I still stutter because someone implemented a system by the way that I speak today. So I use a impediment as a crutch to make it do what it do. Right? So whatever is holding us back, we can flip it where it can be a benefit towards us. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, disciplined. I am not disciplined. My mind, my subconscious mind says, well, look, if in order for you to do this, you need to implement systems You need a habit stack. You need a value stack systems to help you accomplish your task or whatever needs to get done at that moment. I need to remove my emotions from what needs to take place and just execute non emotional, not looking for the result, and just executing at a high level. And whatever the result is, I make the adjustment or we are successful at that particular task. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, disciplined, and enthusiastic. I am not an enthusiastic person. Some people think I am, but I have friends that are very enthusiastic naturally. I am a 99D, a 73C, and my I drops down to like 36. It's not a natural thing. I can do it. I have systems to help me pivot when I'm in rooms that need my enthusiasm, but I'm reminding myself this is who I am, this is who I need to be and become in order to accomplish me being present in this moment. Now, my declaration didn't start off like that. Like I said, it was totally financial and, all the other stuff. But I realized that the values by which we live is eternal. The other stuff, the mission, is a set period of time by which we execute at a high level. By having the mission, you set in the routines, the systems, and the accountability to help you reach that task. Once you do that, you set stress tests or you set up system to be able to manage or make the adjustments to what that system is or that routine is so that it operates to how you want to operate. And then you rinse and repeat. We don't have to overcomplicate the issue. It's a rinse and repeat. And if that don't work for you in that order, change the damn order. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're implementing something that is getting you to the destination. Like we said, are you going to fly the plane or are you driving? Heck, I may walk because weather and you're missing out on all the other stuff, whatever. But setting the destination, the declaration, allows us to reach this on a more consistent basis. Now, let me share with you something. A lot of people do this and you don't even know about it. Albert Einstein used to say his declaration over 100 times per day. He was shifting his subconscious mind to believe everything that he says. Trump, whether you like him or not, this is not politics. He believes everything that he says. He doesn't care what you think.
True.
He says it enough where his subconscious mind believes everything that is coming out of his mouth. So I'm not saying don't set yourself up for that way. I'm saying set yourself up to the point where the subconscious mind does not realize the difference between the fear factor that may come about accomplishing that goal or objective. And when you repeat it over and over and over and over and over again, you kind of wake up starting to believe you're invincible.
Yeah.
whatever your declaration is. So you have to figure out what that is and start to repeat it to yourself over and over again. We tell people just start saying it 3 to 7 times a day, just so you can get out of the block. And if it's authentic to yourself, you start finding yourself saying it 10, 15, 20, 30 times a day. And you say, well, where can I find time to say that? When you're going to the car, when you're going to the restroom, you are reminding yourself of your mission, your purpose, your declaration. And it's kind of like my wife bought this Mercedes SUV a few months ago. It seems like we find Mercedes SUVs everywhere that we go.
Yep.
It's the same thing with our declaration. The only thing that will start coming into your purview is now things that are related to your mission, your purpose.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Go on, take it, Corey. I got some stuff, but I'm gonna let you.
Yeah. So one of the things I want people to understand, even from what he's saying, right? So he talked about the car, and like when you say it, stuff keeps going. Something that really resonated with me was, you know, a lot of people say, because I tell myself all the time, like I tell myself I'm a king, right? I tell myself I'm happy. I tell myself that, you know, that I work hard. That way I'm always in the mindset of like, let's go, right? So one of the things is that I think the mantras and the stuff that I tell myself, right? Like you said, it attracts each other. Now, some people, you need to start with social media and realize that that is not what your mantra says, right? Mm-hmm. Get rid of some of them friends, and then you'll start to figure out your mantra after that. But what I started thinking to myself was, and somebody told me the other day, they said, man, it just seems like nothing bad happens to you ever. And so I'm like, it's not that nothing bad ever happens to me. It's just, it doesn't fit with what I believe. So why do I spend time on it?
Yeah.
Right. Like it's, if I caught a flat tire or I heard some bad news or something like that. Okay, cool. But how does it help me? Does it help me be a king? Does it help me be happy? Does it help me work harder? Like, what are those things? Like, does it help me with that? Okay, cool. Be gone with it and then move on from there. But I think a lot of time, those mantras, those signals that we send to ourselves, it can keep us from going off the path, because I do think that we spend a majority, I'll say that, of our lifetime emotionally trying to check ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And statistics have shown us that our negative thinking is constantly on repeat. And so we have to be mindful of what the repeat is, so that we operate from a frequency level that is above the norm.
Yep.
So whatever that is, yes, I am a king. You start operating like a king.
And that's exactly why I started saying it.
Yeah. So we have to figure out what those authentic words, those authentic characteristics, those authentic things that we need in our life that is going to help us through whatever it is. Like people come to me all the time with problems, but I answer my phone. Hey, Successful Sunday, this is Tirrell speaking. I'm reminding you that when you call me, you got to come through Successful Sunday. So what are you bringing me that is successful? And even if it's a temporary issue, we're now looking at it from a different lens. We're now bringing different energy to this situation. And so we have to constantly, like you said, your friend, you need to monitor who you with. We need to monitor our association with everybody. I have friends for over 30 years, but I only have a handful that is in my circle because the language that we use on a consistent basis is only uplifting.
Mm.
And we're constantly working towards goals that is in line with their declaration or their mission. We could talk about other stuff, but we're just, we have a system by which we have conversation. We ain't just conversating no more.
Hey, T, and a lot of people listening, especially if you're not at this point in your life yet, it seems unfamiliar. But I was on a call earlier where that's okay. Because once you hear some new information, you have to take time. First, you have to hear it. Then you have to hear it again and think about how it makes you feel. And then when you hear it the third time, think about how you can apply it. So you may be listening right now and say, you know what, all of this it sounds good, but I'm not there yet. That's okay.
Mhm.
Keep listening,
Mhm.
keep hearing, because T's using the word system a lot. And it may sound unfamiliar, but we want to just let you know that either you're operating on your system or you're operating on somebody else.
Somebody else's.
Either
Exactly.
you're saying a mantra to pull you through, to remind you, to retrain your subconscious mind, or you allowing negative thoughts to speak to you. So the question then becomes, what story are you telling yourself? And how is that story? Is it uplifting? Is it impacting? Or is it detrimental to your situation? Even if it's unknown territory, what system, as T said, are you using to mitigate the risk? To ask all the right questions? Because we are so afraid to chase our dreams that we will revert to living our nightmares because it's known.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to being comfortable in pain. And I was comfortable in pain for so many years because I didn't have enough courage to try something new. Something as simple as changing my diet made me pain free after 10 years of being in pain because I said it was too hard to change my diet.
Mhm.
I didn't even want to try,
Mhm.
but I didn't take the time. I didn't want to spend the energy. I didn't want to do all the things necessary to live the life I'm living now that's pain free. And when I look back at it, I'm thinking about 10 years. How crazy was that?
Mhm.
So if you're listening and you don't have a mantra yet, you don't have a system by which you operate, and you're saying that, that's a lot of work. Think about how your life is now and just think about the return you will get and how much better your life can be. Even if you live in fine, you say, my life is gravy, I'm good. I'm telling you how much better it will be and can be if you break down your mantra. Tirrell has helped me change my life in just the last couple of months that we've really been working on this for me. We ain't talking about stuff that he just imagining and just worked for him and is in his life. This is something that I did myself. I had to say to myself, I am faithful, strong, loving, and peaceful. I will serve my God and my family with full energy and unconditional love.
Mhm.
Why?
And did you start there?
Didn't start there.
Yeah.
Of course, 'cause my mindset was where yours was in the beginning. Like, I'm gonna get that money.
5 M's. Give me the M's.
That was the viewpoint. That was because when we look at success, that's what we're played. Those are the images that are repeated in our minds. It's
Yeah.
about the money. And then as you get to certain levels, you realize that it ain't even about the money for the super wealthy.
Mhm.
I heard somebody say recently on a podcast that wealth don't have a look. You can be holes in your jeans and wealthy, or you can be wearing Gucci and can't afford it.
Mhm.
So we got to stop looking at the external and start focusing on the internal. And our mantra is a part of our internal. like T said, that calibrates our emotional barometer. And that way, the rest of everything in our life can be filtered through that lens. You let everything come through wide open, it's a floodgate. You're going to get some good and you're going to get some bad. But if you begin to filter through your mantra, your I am, your mission, your values, then those conversations of negativity won't enter, because when you see that phone ring, and if they're not talking about success, then what? We got a limited conversation. If a business idea comes up that it may be great. Somebody asked me the other day, they said they sent me a message. We're getting ready to start X, Y, and Z. Wanted to know if you was interested. In the past, I would have said, yes, sir. Let me jump on there. Let me get in there. But since I've been working on my values, my mission, my I am statement, I filtered it. And I said, you know what? Right now is not the right time for me. I'll revisit later. You don't have to throw it away. You can shelve it.
That's right.
Put it on the shelf and revisit it. So increase by subtraction. Increase by decreasing. Increase your life standard by decreasing the clutter. Increase your wealth by cutting out some of the non-necessary expenses. These are all the things that we are learning with creating this mantra. And I just have to give T your flowers right now. That has helped me change my life. It's changing my marriage. It's changing the relationship with my children. It's changing my spiritual walk. All because now I'm placing it in the right place with the right priority. And it's not just another thing on the task list. And I know I went on a high horse there, but T, I want you to talk a little bit about, because people, it's new, it's different. And we have accountability partners. We have people to help us. Talk to us about accountability, and then bring in that board of directors that you talked about earlier.
The accountability piece is something that we should have. It's not necessary. Someone who is driven to get it will go and get it, right? We know people like that. But sometimes we need accountability to help nudge us in the direction by which we already know we need to be going. So the key is having accountability for whatever you need. Do you need 2 accountability partners? Do you need 5? You don't need to be socializing during these accountabilities. Accountability is stating a specific goal and executing on what that goal is, so that you're moving in the right direction. You're hitting benchmarks. Because what's happening is our return on time is equated to the mathematical people who are around us. And so if you have weak people around you that you are okay with, then your life equation is going to be that mathematical model.
Woo. Repeat it, please. Repeat that.
We need to have people, and I'm sorry, take an inventory of the people that are around you. I have people that are straight shooters. They give it to you raw. You may not like the way that they say it, but they're going to give it to you in a way that is raw enough to get your butt up out of your seat. Sometimes we need it that way. Maybe not for you, but whatever it is, take that inventory of the people that's going to move you, make you feel uncomfortable, or what we call be unreasonable, in the manner that's going to help move you in the direction of your purpose. We don't know how long we're going to be here, so every day should be a sense of urgency. I'm not saying not rest. I'm saying create a routine and a system that creates urgency to execution. And once you identify the accountability, it should be in there daily and weekly. Right? Tyrus and I, we connect on almost weekly with a bunch of other cats that are murdering the game, right? Because the reason by what we are doing, we can socialize later. And I like socializing. But specific times of the day, you need some jolting or taking a cold shower.
Talk about that cold shower.
Huh? Create a system to break your human pattern if you know you are not executing at the level that you are talented to achieve. Some of us know we are great, but we are stuck in our own head of just experiences. And the declaration help pulls you out of the bucket, allows you to achieve at a high level before you even achieve. And then once you start hitting those benchmarks and having the accountability, then you start just making adjustments. Now you are starting to create a team by which you have a body of people that you can talk to about finance, talk to about sales, talk to about your business. A friend of mine is the mayor of San Francisco. If I got issues in politics, I can have a conversation about what's going on, what's happening, anything that we can do to support or help. Find a body of people that love you enough to push you. We can't stay the same person that we was last week. We can't stay the same person that we was last month. We need to operate at a level that you know your greatness is. I don't know what that is for you, but you do. You know what you are capable for. Take it as high as you can, and let's get there first. Then we recalibrate, and then maybe we go a little further. Don't worry about getting to New York by next week. let's start looking at the pricing, and we're gonna print that out and put that on the wall. Come on. We need to create systems that support what you are looking to be and become. You already have systems. You just don't identify it in the way that is congruent to your declaration. And if you're just starting off getting your declaration together, don't worry about outline what your principles and values are. Your principles and values will help you establish a routine and a system by which you will be able to operate in any environment. The U.S. Navy has principles: honor, courage, and commitment. The Army has principles: loyalty, duty, honor, and integrity. The Coast Guard has principles, values: honor, right? The Air Force, integrity. They have values that help shape the mentality and the mind by which, when they go into battle, these things will protect the team, the group, the environment on the mission by which they are looking to be and become. There's a start and there's a finish to a mission. The declaration is ever evolving into who we are in terms of our purpose.
Fire. Too much heat. See, I'm gonna take up a little collection afterwards. The doors of the church open. We gonna take up a little collection because this is life changing information. This is what we have just discussed will take you out of whatever darkness that may be in your life at this point. And even if you are killing the game and you are operating at a high level, if you don't have this piece, you still have levels to go. We've been here over an hour. We're supposed to cut out, but it's
Really? Wow.
It was good, man.
Wow. Wow.
as we get ready to wrap this thing up, do you have anything, any words, any final remarks?
No, find your purpose. You know, the best thing that we can do over the next day, week, month is find what that is. Start off with something. It doesn't have to be perfect. Start off with something that gets you towards your purpose in life, your declaration, and start repeating this mantra over and over again. I promise you, you'll start recalibrating it until it's authentic to yourself. And this will help shape the direction that you are going, your family is going, your business is going, and it will allow the ever evolving process to be more meaningful. It becomes more fun. You start having enjoy it. You start having joy. You know what I'm saying? When you become an adult, you lose the joy. It's like, man, come on, we got to find ways to make life fun. And that's why I do golf tournaments. That's why we do things off the court, right? Because we want to have fun while doing this as well. So find that purpose, get your declaration as soon as you can, but start off with your principles and values. If anything, it will help you when you're in different settings moving forward.
Love it. Corey, what you got?
Man, I think you took everything that I was gonna say, man. Just tell yourself who you want to become and watch how life starts to have you embody it. Like, that's the best thing I can say.
Mic drop. You just dropped it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just drop it there because I think he said everything that needed to be said.
Man, thanks for having me, man. This was fun.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it just for me, it was reinforcing to hear you go down, because we talk about this, but even the passion that you speak about it, the passion that you have walking through the steps, you can see that is real to you. You're not just talking. It's not just fluff in the air. This is lifestyle, and it becomes lifestyle, and then it becomes something that you can't do without.
Can
And
I tell you one more thing?
talk to me.
Is that when you start living your mission, your mantra, people will start repelling away from you. The negative people who may be a part of your life or want to be a part of your life, if they're not in line with who you are and what you are becoming, you almost don't even have to worry about it because your mind is no longer even thinking about it. You are constantly in that rotation, and it's like a fire. They have to go through fire to even get through your spirit. So, Teeth, thank you, brother. You are always an inspiration to me. I am a fan, a big fan of this podcast. So keep up the great work, Corey. You guys are doing simply amazing stuff, and I believe the mission, the purpose, and the value that you guys are doing is doing major things.
Well, we definitely appreciate that.
Appreciate
And
that.
T, if people want to reach out to you, they want to connect with you, how can they follow you?
They can go to weworldbuild.com. That is the website in order to reach me. And that's how you can get a hold of me.
weworldbuild.com.
I like that.
World Build.
We World Build.
World. Hey, I say world building. I've been saying it for so long, for the last several years. I have transformed all of my friends. They don't think small. They they got to think in a way that is ever evolving towards our community to add value. And we start with self, our families, and our communities first.
Love it. Love it. Well, T, again, thank you for spending time with us, sharing with us, dropping all the gems and knowledge. We just want to thank everybody else out there that came in, that listened, and go and apply. Don't just take this information and cast it to aside. Even if you don't apply it today, listen again so you can connect emotionally to what we're talking about. And then take you another listen for a third time and then figure out how can you apply it. And always reach out if you have questions. There's no need for nobody to struggle alone. We've all been through something. And I think collectively, the three of us on this podcast have been through a whole as they say, a whole heap,
A whole heap of
Mhm,
trouble.
heap of
mhm.
stuff. So we can help guide you through that. And if we can't, we know people that can. And that's the beauty of networking, partnership, service, adding value, connecting with like minded individuals that are all seeking a higher purpose and to serve and give back. So, thank you guys. Thank everybody for listening. Again, this is the empowerment platform where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals, whatever they may be. We'll see you next week.